I'd like to be under the sea. It's VGC, the video game podcast, with me, Jordan Midler, Chris Scullion, Andy Robinson, and the fourth Beatle, Chris Dring. This week, Xbox's next console will play PC games, but they won't be coming from PlayStation. But first, how are we doing? Dringo, we're not paying you to be on this podcast now, are we? Because you seem to be here every single week. I love it, but let me just make it clear, I don't get paid for this podcast, so I hope you don't either.
Actually, Andy pays me in a very unique way, and I'll leave it at that.
I see.
I give him Xbox gift cards.
Yes. Microsoft points. I'm paid in unlimited amounts of Microsoft points. God rest them. Dringo, how are you doing this fine week?
Yes, quite good this week. I've been playing a game, which I don't do very often. I've been playing Resident Evil Requiem, which I really enjoy. I'm having fun with that. And it's obviously 25th anniversary of my favourite video game, Conker's Bad Fur Day, as well. So I've been in a very nostalgic mood.
What a title.
When I was a kid, I made a fan site dedicated to Conker. So that was my sort of beginning into games media. So yeah, I'm actually deaf in one ear still. I don't know if I've mentioned that last week, but that's quite annoying. But yeah, other than that, I'm all right. Are you okay, Jordan? How are you? Nobody asks you how you are.
Nobody ever asks me how I am. Well, let me tell you, I'm good. I've had a very busy week playing Pokopia, which we'll talk about later. But broadly, I am fine. Chris Scullion, how are you?
Hello. I'm doing good. Xbox is back.
Woo!
The world's a happier place.
Woohoo! We'll get on to that. Obviously, the once you jump out your bed this morning and landed in your Xbox slippers, but what else has been going on in the world of Scullion?
Been vigorously playing WWE 2K26.
Excellent.
Vigorously is the only way I play wrestling games, so it kind of makes sense. But so I'm sure we'll get to that.
Yeah, we will.
That'll be the point. That'll be the point where Andy starts checking his emails when I'm talking about this.
It's a bumper episode this week, which is seemingly now par for the course. Let me tell you, peel the curtain back a little bit. Last week, I was down in London for a Pokémon Day thing, and I was remote producing the podcast from a random Costa Coffee. At the point where the podcast was still running, an hour and 40 minutes later, I was like, surely something's happened. Has there been some kind of massive edit? And it's like, no, Alex Donaldson and Chris Dring can just talk for Scotland. People, speaking of people who can talk for Scotland, Andy Robinson, how are you doing?
All right.
Yeah.
That's my catchphrase.
All right.
Sorry.
If Spurs go down, what will you do at VGC Live to celebrate?
I will never be sober again.
Well, if you want to see Andy in a state of absolute disrepair, get your tickets for VGC Live. Few are left. I was going to say there's only terrible seats left, but it's unassigned seating unless you are part of patreon.com/Video Games Chronicle at the season ticket or director tier.
We'll put you in terrible seats.
Yeah. We'll put you in a
if you're the sort of
building.
person who drags your heels to buy tickets for something, I dare say you're the sort of person who's not going to be there an hour before opening time anyway. So I would imagine I would like to see the Venn diagram is what I'm saying of people who buy tickets late and people who turn up late to
VGC historian Sam B, if you could get on that, if you could sort out all the
if you could be out at the doors at the event and ask everyone when they bought their tickets.
Do a Capcom when you enter the event, ask their age and then make absolutely no reference to it for the rest of the evening. If you turn up an hour early to VGC Live, much like in Metal Gear Solid 4 when the game was installing, you will see Christopher Dring smoking a fag on stage for a full hour. So be sure to turn up in plenty of time.
That kid, if you remember midnight openings, there was always that young lad who was always at the front of the midnight opening queues. I think we
know, mate. The same guy who was always at the front, every single one.
I know his name. I won't say it on here because it's unfair, but yeah,
Alex Donaldson.
No.
But yes, please do get your tickets for VGC Live. Announcements on guests and special activities will be coming very, very soon. It's going to be a fun weekend of japery, hijinks, and us hopefully not getting banned from ever doing a live show ever again. But until then, if you like to support VGC, it really, really genuinely does help us. Patreon.com/Video Games Chronicle. You can get an ad-free experience on the website. We know how much you hate ads. Get rid of them for a $5. There's also lots of bonus podcasts, videos, and much, much more.
I think since you last hosted the podcast, half of the games media have been laid off, including people on this podcast.
I thought you were going to say half of the games media have been laid off, including you.
We've been wondering for 10 minutes why you're here.
It's just
maybe we should do like a drive that if you get enough sign-ups before the end of a live podcast, Jordan gets to keep his job.
Jordan gets to lose his job.
Yeah, that's right. So you probably make more money.
You need an incentive.
Anyway, enough of the bollocks. Let's get into it. Story number 1. Xbox confirms its next console will run PC games and it's codenamed Project Helix. On Thursday, Microsoft Gaming Division shared a short teaser on social media revealing the Project Helix logo. In a separate message, new gaming CEO Asha Sharma, who's this? Where's Phil? Said she would be meeting with developers to discuss the new console at GDC next week. Quote, great start to the morning with Team Xbox, where we talked about our commitment to the return of Xbox, including Project Helix, the code name for our next generation console. Project Helix will lead in performance and play your Xbox and PC games. Looking forward to chatting about this more with partners and studios at my first GDC next week. This is the first time Microsoft has explicitly confirmed that its next console will be a hybrid PC device. Those expected for some time. First up, I want to know, Chris Scullion, how many party poppers were popped when you heard this news last night?
Just need to adjust my jumper a bit.
There we go.
This is an Xbox. No, listen, in all seriousness, this is like we knew this was coming. We knew Xbox was going to make a hybrid console PC thing for a while now. It's the only sensible. I say sensible. It's the only kind of way they could go about it, really, because if they'd gone straight console again, having essentially lost with the Xbox One and with the Series X and Series S, if they tried it a third time, it was just going to be the same results. They need to do something different. And if this is what they're trying, and it's as good a chance as any to work or to fail. So we're going to just have to wait and see how the public responds to it. There's a lot of variables that need to be known. How much is this going to cost? Because it sounds like it's going to be a fortune, like the way the world's going anyway. How seamless is this going to be? Is it going to be like the ROG Ally, which is fine, but is really not what you would expect from a console interface? Because that really feels like a PC. You have to be really lenient with some of the shit it pulls. So there's lots of things that are still unknown at this point, but at least we now know the kind of basic fundamentals of this new system is that it will be a console and a PC in one box.
Christopher Dring, you were out there chatting about this last night. My first question is, what's your reaction to this? And the follow-up is, why are they getting ahead of the game and talking about it now? Is this the first step in the Malcolm Tucker-esque spin war as the return of Xbox keeps getting bandied about?
Xbox like to talk. We know that. It likes to, but well, they're going out to GDC and then to get developers on board. I guess there's an element of that. It's difficult to get excited about it at the moment, at all, really, because I've been thinking about this for a while, because I'm trying to think, why would anyone want to buy another Xbox console? And I think if you're an existing Xbox player, this is quite cool, right? Because you get all your games that you've played on previous Xboxes, you will run on it, and you've got you can download PC games on it at all as well. So it's like, that's cool. That's an interesting thing if you're an existing Xbox player. If you're not an existing Xbox player, it is just a gaming PC, and that's fine if you want one of those. But you might go Steam Machine, you might get an actual gaming PC. That's assuming that they're going to continue releasing their games on every platform like they've done up to now. Otherwise, and so I sort of think, it's cool. There's a new, there's an old part of me, like a younger part of me, that when you see a code name for a new game console, you get very, very excited. But I don't think it really matters anymore, and I don't think it's going to move the needle unless they change their business strategy around their first party games.
Anyway. Andy, did this news move your needle at all?
No, I agree. Usually when you have project names and logos and stuff, it has connotations of excitement, right? Because in the past, new consoles would bring with them new innovations like, oh my God, what's the controller going to be like? And, what crazy technology. The game's going to look beyond anything we can imagine. Those days are long gone. Mm-hmm. The games are going to look not as good as the ultra settings on a PC. The controller will be the same. The only shocking thing will be the price point. And that's across the board, not just Xbox. Especially Xbox. I mean, I'd say PlayStation at least. Kind of like they do change the controller and trying to have some gimmicks and stuff. And certainly, making a PC box doesn't scream that, right? I do actually think it's quite compelling proposition. A console like PC, what it is, right? I mean, you call it a console on a PC. What is a console? For me, a console is a living room box, that's a closed system that gives you benefits from that. I think as soon as you're also a PC, you can't be both. You're a PC or you're a console. It's a PC that runs backwards compatible Xbox games. But I think that's quite compelling, right? I've not upgraded my PC for a long time. And certainly it's not the attraction to do that is not growing, right? With the explosion in price of components, and which doesn't look like it's going to end. And the idea of being able to get something that, actually I could dip into PC games, in the living room, because I don't really like. I work from home. I'm in this office on this desk. It's not my leisure time, right? I want to go and sit on the sofa and chill out. And probably the types of PC games I would want to play as well, and are kind of like they're not like the super high end ones. Consoles kind of cover that. It's like all the stuff that goes on Steam, the breakout hits, don't come to console. Well, yeah, for a start, I'm literally sat here thinking, how am I going to play Racoin later this month? Right, you get turn the bloody Steam Deck on, or something like that. So I do think it's quite compelling. Probably my only concern would be is that I think that Steam is probably better positioned to do this well compared to Microsoft, because you just kind of know that it's first with Windows on it. You're going to have Copilot shoved down your throat. This is their business, and they don't own any of the ecosystems or anything like that. You have to awkwardly plug Steam in, assuming it's not native. They're going to have their own store, their own overlay. So there is that. But I think it's, Phil Spencer is obviously out, but I think a lot of what they've done has kind of been vindicated. Their pivoting direction. I mean, I'm sure they didn't foresee the implosion of the AAA games industry that we're now seeing now. But Christ, they're pivoting to be PC. And to be off device and to be across platforms is looking more and more sensible as the days go on.
They just need to be very, very careful with how they market this, because this is something we've been saying for years now, is that their marketing messaging. I know I'm wearing this is an Xbox t-shirt, but I promise you that's purely satirical and not actually heartfelt. Its messaging has been terrible for a long time now, to the point that Game Pass should have been a no-brainer, should have been a massive sell, and it didn't sell it wasn't industry changing in the way that I'm sure a lot of people thought it could have been. This thing needs to be presented in a way that makes the public think, actually, that's something I could get. If for the UK audience, bundle the thing with a wireless mouse. Right? If it's going to be a PC, then it's going to need to have a mouse. Make it a wireless mouse, so you just press the button and it connects it without any pissing around. Tell them, you can play proper Football Manager on your telly. There's things you can do to kind of sell certain parts of the audience to make it clear that you can do something on this that you can't do on your PlayStation.
Yeah, the current Football Manager.
You can play Football Manager.
I think that then plays. I think you've inadvertently kind of highlighted there. The challenge for them is that when they do position this thing, is it a console or is it a PC? What is it?
Yeah,
because consoles come with them with certain expectations, and I think those expectations don't exist with Xbox anymore. I don't think the investment that you put into this box, which is going to be close to $1,000, right? It just is. Any new console is going to be now. The investment you put into that comes with that you're investing in these games that you're going to get and these experiences you're going to get. And, obviously the value side of it as well. And I think those days are kind of gone. It's just tougher. And the marketing thing, I don't think there's anything they could have done with the marketing. It's about the positioning of the device, right? Why am I going to invest into Xbox, as an ecosystem? And a lot of people have been asking that, for a while now. And I don't think you answer that with a great advertising campaign. You answer it by putting a ton of games on it. And, that was the first issue, is that thing launched. And I remember being quite surprised that it didn't have exclusive games on it because Series X, I still think, is the best hardware. I mean, if you take PS5 Pro out, but I still think pound for pound, it's the best console.
Yeah.
I think one of my things with the consoles is they are supposed to be really, I hate the fact they've become like, what mode do you want? Do you want, the way it's supposed to be. So I'm supposed to put a game in the machine and it runs exactly how it's supposed to run. I don't have to know anything. I don't have to mess around with settings. I don't have to do anything. I'm going to put this, and this is the game that I'm getting is what the developer was making, right? So the developer's making a game, and what they were seeing on their monitor is what I'm playing at home when it's released. The problem with PCs that isn't built like that, and that's fine if you're into it. But if you're a console player, you just want to plug in and go. And if I've got a new Xbox and Steam machines, they're going to have it. Steam are going to have it so that on Steam they'll go, this will run really well on your Steam machine. They'll have like little labels that will tell you whether or not it will run. Are they going to have labels that tell you how well this is going to run on your Project Helix? I doubt it. And I think that's when that's where I'm always I think there's a slight disconnect. I think people don't think it's that big a deal, particularly people that game on PC. They don't quite understand why. But I remember when I got the ROG Ally, and I'm not a PC gamer, and it was asking me to like set up my Windows Hello account, and it was asking me to do all these sort of things, and I was like, I just want to play a fucking game.
This is why people play on console, right? This is why the people who play on console play on console. I want to turn the thing on, sit on my sofa in my leisure time, and enjoy it, right? The people playing on PC are like classic car, like the car modders, right? Like they're getting under the hood and extracting extra power. And I used to be one of those guys as well. Like, I mean, I was totally in the 90s, late 90s, early 2000s. I was a proper PC guy as well. And I totally respect that. But at this stage in my life, I want to turn the thing on and I want to play it. And I think that's who they're trying to sell these things to as well. Or increasingly not, because they need to extract more and more money from the middle class of the console world. But that's who they traditionally have sold to, right? The guy who's in Walmart or Tesco who wants to play GTA, I'm going to turn this thing on and it's going to run and it's going to work. Sorry, go on, Chris.
That's why this lives or dies by its interface. Like I think the Series X is the best user interface just now. I think the ROG Ally X is the worst by a country mile. User interface, because the ROG Ally X is a makeshift. People can call it an Xbox all they want. It is a makeshift handheld PC with the fired an Xbox app on it, and when you turn it on, that's what boots first. That's basically all it is. There's no way that was that's a marketing, like a partnership to say, oh, can we put our app on your handheld PC that you've released previously already and just put Xbox branding on it. That's not a proper Xbox handheld. It does what it needs to do, but the user experience isn't that great. This needs to run flawlessly. This needs to, when you put an Xbox console game on it, it needs to even run a completely separate kernel to the way the Wii U boots the Wii separately, or the way the Wii boots a GameCube. And then at that point, there's no PC stuff involved in it at all when you're playing a console game. When you're playing a PC game, when I launch Steam on it, you want big picture mode in Steam to appear instantly with no pissing around. You don't want to see any of the inner workings in the back of it. There should be an expert mode for people who do want to piss around and install emulators and all the stuff they want to do with a PC. But for people who don't want that, it should launch Steam Big Picture Mode. Epic's Game Store should have its own Big Picture Mode equivalent. GOG should have one, so that it is as close to a console experience as you can get. And the other benefit of it being that it should have over PC gaming is that the problem with PC gaming is that everyone has a completely different configuration. So you can never that's why everyone does their tinkering with the quality sliders and everything to best suit their PC. If everyone has the same preset configuration for this, in theory, it should be easier for developers to come up with a preset for that Xbox console PC hybrid that when you press it for that, then it optimizes the sliders to what suits that device, so none of that tinkering is necessary. That's in an ideal world how it plays out, how it should work, but we need to see now how it plays out and whether that actually happens.
My question is, what makes you so sure that these other storefronts will just work automatically? Because surely from Microsoft's perspective, they want you buying these games from their Xbox PC store, and they don't want to be giving money to Steam and Epic, who can massively undercut them on the price of software. Because that's my assumption here, is that without some tinkering, this will be something that launches the Xbox store and the Xbox PC store. Sure, as soon as it's a PC, you can put whatever you want on it. You could put bloody Sega Game Gear emulator on it. I don't know why that's the first one I thought of, but to me, I don't think it's a foregone conclusion that these other storefronts will just work flawlessly, because surely Microsoft will want a cut of every game sale at that point.
It's true, but you've also got the head of the Epic Game Store saying that they've already spoken to Microsoft, and they've basically, as far as they're concerned, they're going to be on it on day one, and they're working on an app for it.
I'm more worried about Steam because no one uses
Epic.
Epic.
They're talking to like the guys who make like the Windows Phone. I think we're giving it too much credit as well. We're just making a blind assumption that this thing will be popular and people will want it and people will support it. And I'm still not convinced who this is for, right? A PC gamer's going to want this thing. Our console player's going to want this thing. It seems like it could be a very awkward compromise. They're in a very difficult position as a console platform holder historically. I can't see it being anything other than a niche within their larger play. That this is just one of the devices that they have now, and you can have it if you want. But it's as much as they talk about it being at the center and coming off of that, I think that's just a pure PR play.
Mm-hmm. I think Jordan's got a point, actually. I mean, we look at the ROG and we sort of look at that, and that's got obviously Steam on it, and you can have Steam on it, and that suggests that that's Xbox's strategy for Project Helix. That we are making an assumption there, but if Steam is accessible on Helix, which I think a lot of people are assuming, if you're a game developer, are you still making an Xbox version of your game? I don't know. No.
Yeah, exactly. As soon as you open it up to everything, like, I also think Andy makes a good point. Who's it for? I think we are well and truly past the point of like, oh, what are you getting next time? Are you getting the PlayStation or the Xbox? Like, it has never been more three-pillared. Like, sure, the PlayStation 6 might come out at a similar time, but the three of them, including the Switch, are all such different devices. Like, I can understand this being exciting for someone like Chris who has a massive backlog, and it's like I'm very much the same way. It's like, oh, a better way to play all these things that'll look nicer and have everything, sure, whatever. But I do wonder, this is no one's entry level Xbox at this point, especially because, Scullion, how much do you think this is going to cost? Because I think this will be no less than £1,000.
It will be more than £1,000.
Yeah.
Like if it's a PC, then £1,000 isn't a good PC.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
And obviously they'll take a hit, like more than a PC manufacturer would. But you're still talking well over £1,000, I think. If it's going
and at that price point, it's just an increasing niche.
Yeah, if it's going to look like a generational leap, which obviously are diminishing returns generation by generation anyway, I think I will get one, because any time there's a new generation, I need to know what I'm talking about, so I'll get one anyway. I'm the least, I'm the person this is least aimed at, because I recently bought a fancy PC and there's a cable which literally, my TV is here.
Yeah.
So I can play PC games.
That's the thing. PC gamers are savvy. They're not stupid.
But there are also...
you can play it on your TV. They're very aware that they can hook that thing up to their TV.
But there are also people who have a PC in their separate PC room, which is well away from the living room. And I can see the appeal there, and your whole Steam library can now be played on your living room fairly easily without you having to trail a cable around through your entire house. Not everyone has a PC and a TV right next to each other. So I get the sale there, where all the stuff you play on
Streaming.
PC with your pals can now be played on your living room.
Streaming's
I will
passion.
I will never accept it, especially your hardcore types who don't want any lag or latency and stuff like that. So I don't know. I think a lot of it depends on the sell. They need to position this in a way to make people realise they want it. Because I think there's an education to be had here. You know, having it.
I'm with Andy on this. I think this is just one. I think this is just. Xbox has a load of Game Pass subscribers that are on a console, right? They've got tens of millions of their subscribers are on console. So they have to make another console because they want to keep those subscribers. They don't just want to go, hey, we will go to PC instead. They risk losing it. They've got an audience of people that own Xboxes. You know, it's not a big audience. I don't know how many people have Series S and X's, but it's, you know, you're still looking tens of millions. You're not talking thousands. So there's an audience for them to bring along with them to the next generation. But I don't think this is going to go beyond the audience they've already got. If anything, I expect that console audience to go down. So I think this is just them continuing it and bringing those ecosystems closer together, because they ultimately, their vision is to have every game available on every platform, to think about it like a Netflix or whatever, where you can access your games on TVs, via streaming, on mobile phones, on game consoles, on PCs. And I'm still not quite sure what the service layer is for them. Is it Xbox Live? Is it Game Pass? Is there one? But I think that's what this is, rather than hey, this is going to be our chance to claw back market share from PlayStation, Nintendo. I don't think that's the play.
Here's another element of it. They cannot continue to charge for online play if this is a PC. Like, they have to sunset that, because at that point, like, it's ridiculous that anyone charges for online play, but as soon as you're putting yourself in the kind of PC sphere, you can't have all these games pop up a layer being like, well, you can play your Steam games online with your pals, but as soon as it's branded Xbox, it'll come up a thing saying Xbox Live login or whatever it's called these days.
Jordan, to your point earlier about who's going to make Xbox games if Xbox can play Steam, next generation, I don't think there are Xbox games. I think next generation Xbox games are Microsoft Store games. From that point on, they just make PC games. The console aspect of this thing will be playing the backwards compatibility stuff. Yeah, that kernel will play the Series X and before that. Any next gen Xbox games are purely Microsoft Store only. Yeah. So you'll get developers releasing on that. It will all be PC going forward. It will just be PC games they make. They'll just play on this box, I think, and all the last gen stuff will be the console. But
here's a question for you: how much is the optional disc drive? Because this thing isn't shipping with a disc drive. £100?
I mean, if it's a PC, it will need it'll be USB add-on.
Can you buy a PC now with a disc drive?
That's what made me think about it.
It'll need a USB one.
I've not had a PC with a disc drive for probably 20 plus years.
Yeah.
God rest them.
God rest them.
It'll be a USB optional.
Yeah.
But if they were doing it, you wouldn't attach it to the console like PlayStation does, because it'll be even less necessary than it is this generation.
Yeah.
Over 82% of Resident Evil Requiem's Xbox sales in the UK were digital. It's a very small audience who will even want that disc drive.
82%
I guess if
of
you've got
100.
Yeah.
82% as in the 82 people who bought it on
as in 82 copies.
Xbox is moderately popular in the UK, I would say that.
without like starting another shitstorm. So it's a real conversation as well. Like, there's a lot of talk been happening among a lot of media outlets, like at what point we change how we cover Xbox, like as a platform. Like, we give them top billing, on our masthead, PlayStation, Nintendo, Xbox. I mean, we've spent now best part of 30 minutes talking about Xbox as a platform, but it seems that they're not really a going concern as a platform much anymore. I mean, there'll be a huge creator, producer of content, but as a platform, I mean, you're seeing Digital Foundry moving away from including Xbox in their content. You're seeing Xbox fan sites rebranding to go more multi-format. I mean, we all see that the numbers we get on Xbox content now is minuscule, compared to everything else, because they've stopped servicing that audience. At what point do we talk to them in the same way that we talk about, this is like Ubisoft, right? We don't have like Uplay, or whatever, what it's even called.
It's weird
to
me
for 30 minutes.
It's weird to me because, like, that is all correct, but like when Forza and Indiana Jones and stuff come to PlayStation, they do so well. So there's clearly like the gaming audience is like aware of this
games.
stuff.
Yeah, they're amazing games.
But like they just not capitalize on the fact that they had these amazing games for so long. I want to include this before the break because this is the other kind of domino of this whole thing. Story number 2. PlayStation's strategy of releasing single-player games on PC is reportedly stopping. This comes from Jason Schreier, citing people familiar with Sony's plans. It says that the company is pulling back on releasing its upcoming games on PC, with future single-player games set to become PS5 exclusive, such as Ghost of Iote and the upcoming Saros. The report claims that multiplayer games such as Marathon and Marvel Tokon will remain multi-platform, as you'd probably expect. The article doesn't specify why Sony's stance appears to have changed, but one possible suggestion is the commonly held belief that Microsoft's next Xbox console will be a PC console hybrid. This was written before the Helix announcement. Christopher Dring, what do you think of this? Does this make sense? I always thought that Sony's PC play was lousy. I'm not surprised that the Sony PC ports we did so many stories of like there's only 12 people playing God of War on PC. Yeah, because you released it 6 years later and everyone has a PlayStation. What do you think of this?
Well, you hit it on the nail of the head. I'm not entirely sure this is about Xbox, really. I don't think people are, people go, PlayStation games on Xbox now because of Steam or whatever. And I'm a bit like, those games, if you want the latest PlayStation games, you're getting them. You're not getting them 6 years later, as you quite rightly point, or 2 years later. But Spider-Man 2 did nothing. God of War Ragnarok did nothing. Some people threw like numbers at me, like, oh, it did $30 million.
It was even fewer, like stuff like Uncharted and Ratchet and Clank did nothing.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they didn't do very much on PlayStation, to be fair. But
but you know what I mean. It's like, I think the story here is not so much like, well, people don't want PlayStation games on PC. No, people don't want PlayStation games late on PC.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and they're never going to do the day one thing with their big blockbusters. So
everything's like they try stuff. They released a load of PlayStation games on PC. They looked at the data and they went, you know what? It's not worth our time and money porting God of War 2 years later to these devices. Let's not do it. But it does make sense for Helldivers. It did make sense. It will probably make sense for Marvel Tokon. It will make sense for Marathon. It will obviously make sense for certain games. And it's now just a case of choosing where you're spending your money. And you go, if single player narrative games have always been good on PlayStation. It's always been the home for those device games. They can do well on PC, but they don't. It's not normally the home for them. So I just think Sony's just gone. If we're gonna make this work, we have to day and date it. That doesn't suit our console strategy. Let's not do it. What I am surprised by, there is one game that single player game that did do all right on Steam. That was Ghost of Tsushima. So I'm surprised that the first game they've decided to do this with is Ghost of Yota. And I think it's because of that franchise appeals a little bit Eastern. It's got a sort of Asian appeal to that game. And that's a very PC market. So I'm a little surprised by that one. But overall, I mean, I looked at when you talked about this on the Game Business Show this week, and I looked back at some numbers and I was just a bit like, I looked back at some numbers and I'm like, oh, these games didn't do anything. And if you're Sony and you're going, there may be in the back of your mind, you're going, oh, this will stop our games being on Xbox consoles. This will stop this. This will stop that. Sure. But I think it's just a case of them being more strategic. Is Saros going to do anything on PC 2 years after the game came out? I'm not entirely sure it's going to do that much on PS5. So it seems to make sense. But there will be exceptions though. They just announced that Kenna Bridge of Spirits.
The first one's coming to Switch too. Yeah.
So there will be opportunities.
I think if Destruction All Stars had released on PC, we'd be looking at a Fortnite beta by now. That's what I'm saying.
Come on, Destruction All Stars. Welcome to the Destruction All Stars podcast. I think this is it was always so kind of half baked. Like the fact that they waited so long and didn't put like. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure the Blue Point Demon Souls remake never made it to PC. Like I'm pretty sure that's still a PS5 exclusive.
That would do all right, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that's the kid that they're like, no, not that. How about Horizon 17 years later? I think that I would have expected them to put Ghost of Yotei Legends, the multiplayer mode, on PC, like maybe do a bespoke little thing there, because maybe that service is like, you like Yotei Legends, why don't you get a PlayStation 5 and play the full game? But I don't really think they're too bothered about that. I think we are sliding headlong into another period of Sony hubris, unlike the world's ever seen, because they have absolutely no competition whatsoever, and they can do what they like.
It does seem that way, that they've basically decided to lock in this is the audience we have. It's not going to grow. Let's see how much money we can extract from them.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
I think it's worth noting that so under Jim Ryan, this is about 5 or 6 years ago, they had a strategy, which was to try and make their first party business as big as their platform business. PlayStation makes so much money from store fees, from console sales, that's where they make huge amounts of revenue. And the idea was, hey, can we do that with our first party games? Can we get our games making so much money? We talk about first party on PlayStation. They're not the biggest games on Sony's consoles ever. Can they do that? And actually, since that vision, they've really pivoted into live service, probably a little too hard. I think it was the right move to do live service games because, that's where the money is, but they probably pivoted a bit too hard. They've gone through this period, because games are taking so much longer to make, they've gone through this period of very few major launches from first party. And so they're probably looking at their first party business, having to rescale it, rescope it, rethink it. And they're going, okay, where's our revenue coming from? Well, it's this platform business. And suddenly the impetus to put games on other platforms, which will grow their first part business, probably isn't there as much as it used to be. And, the guy in charge, Nishina-san, is from the platform side of PlayStation, right? It was at one point, it was him and Herman Holst, who were co-CEOs, right? And then one of them was the software guy, the first party guy. And the other one was the platform guy. And eventually the platform guy got the big job. And that's where, so, you can see, I think that speaks volumes a little bit. I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. But I think PlayStation's first party has a journey to go on. It'll get there. Problem you've got with this industry is people criticize stuff now. They might have already started trying to fix it years ago, but it takes 4 or 5 years to see the results.
Yeah.
But
yeah, this is a very niche complaint, and it's only it's like a kind of side complaint. But see, when they released Lego Horizon Adventures on Switch, and it was like, oh, okay, they're going to start bringing some stuff on Switch. I was like, right, okay, but do Sackboy, like do Astrobot.
Wasn't Lego, yeah, I was going to say, driven by Lego.
That was a mandate from the Lego group. So
perhaps, but even
they never told me that.
That was never going to do well because no one give a shit about that game anyway.
Yeah.
And so I feel bad if that ends up having been a test case that Sony can point at and say Switch users don't care. It's like, don't give a shit about Lego Horizon.
I know it's popular and trendy now because obviously a lot of opinions that people on the street have are stuff that's been put into our heads from corporations and politicians and the money men basically. But I don't want more stuff to come out on more devices. I don't care whether you can play my game on your device. Lock them up, more competition. But it's just like, look at there's no games on PlayStation. Like the prices are higher than ever. There's no competition, right? We'll never know how many games we've missed out on because they don't have to spend the money anymore because there's no competition. Why try?
Yeah, Astrobot's an interesting example. Right? I'd love to. My son's playing at the moment, and I go, oh look, I know how much money that game would make on a Switch 2. Like you sit there and think it would be huge, but that's not why Astrobot exists. Astrobot exists because PlayStation's gone, we want to bring in family audiences and have something for the kids on our PlayStation 5. So they went and they invested in it and they commissioned that project and they spent money on it for that reason. Not to make money in its own right, even though it will do, but to grow its platform, to grow its audience and grow its base. It puts it on Nintendo, it's not achieving that. And if it did that, it probably would never have commissioned it in the first place. And we forget that sometimes, that exclusives, I know that exclusives, the way the world is at the moment, you have to go to people. People are so busy, got so much stuff to play and watch and listen and read. If you want to get your whatever it is you're making in front of them, you have to go to them. Don't expect them to come to you. Some big games can do that, but most of them can't. And so I get that's the reason why we're moving to this multi-platform future. But there's a certain Metroid wouldn't exist, I don't think, if it wasn't for the fact that it brings in audiences to Nintendo's platform who then go and spend money on other products.
If that brings in like a few new people buy a new Switch, go into the ecosystem, right, and then buy other games, and it's done its job. These games, their margin for success that they're measured on is different than if it was a third-party game that, as you say, like it wouldn't be worth the effort whatsoever.
Bayonetta only exists still.
Yeah, only exists because it was
But to that point, I know you say like nobody wants to play a 6-year-old PlayStation game on PC, but once you release it as an exclusive and that runs its course, you've brought in all the audience you can bring in with an Astrobot. Like now, do you not just say, okay, well, why don't we just release it on Switch 2 now? Because if you want to promote that character and make that character more popular, so you can make merchandise on that character.
I mean, I hear you, but if no one's going to buy it, it becomes an optics issue, right? Well, we're not going to. Basically, no one's going to buy this game. Like at the point where, contextually, it's nothing for us. And optics-wise, we're putting our games on PC. That's a real issue, right?
See, I think Astrobot's
a PC. I'll just get it on PC. They put their games on PC.
I get that, but I don't think Astrobot's not a PC game because no one Astrobot but a Switch game.
Astrobot's the best example, I think, of a game that would be absolutely vandalized if they put it on another platform.
Even Switch?
Oh yeah,
too.
It would sell well on Switch. We'd have to make a lot of compromise.
You have to completely redesign huge parts of the game for a start.
No, I get that in terms of the controls.
One of the great things about Astrobot is it's one of the very, very few actual exclusive games that integrate software and hardware together right these days. Like the Nintendo does so well, and certainly used to do better, I think, than it does now. But certainly on PlayStation, it's one of the very, very few games that integrates the hardware and the software. I think as soon as you put that on PC or Switch, you're going to have to strip half of it out.
Yeah,
I think you're showing massive disrespect to swiping the touchpad to make the wind go in the Ghost of games. That's worth the price of admission, in my opinion. But yeah, I think Astro's a weird example.
It's a shame Switch 2 doesn't have something you can press and swipe.
Yeah, I mean that is
like a touch screen.
I didn't actually realise that Switch 2.
But I know, I do know what Chris is saying with Lego Horizon, because you can bring in. You can do things like Lego Horizon's a great example of, hey, what if we created a sort of cut down, kid friendly Lego version of our Horizon game? And it's basically an advert it's a good game in its own right. It's a product in its own right, but it also potentially advertises PlayStation. There's little opportunities like that, I think, do exist, but a lot of these, I look at some of that's the thing I actually think Xbox needs to do more is stuff like Astrobot and, they used to did it with CFEs, but things that just like that's quite mainstream, quite unique, quite fresh, and brings in different people and attracts different people in a way. I think that's and I think that only first parties do that. And I think when you go third party, it becomes a lot more about you have to give up that 30%, call it a 30% cut, store cuts, and you start going into a different game. It becomes the game itself has to deliver the profit on its own merit. It changes this conversation, I think.
I think it's absolutely astonishing that as soon as the Activision Blizzard deal closed, Microsoft weren't like, make a new Crash Bandicoot straight away, because Crash Bandicoot is one of like the only franchises that is still like from that era where everyone played games the same way that everyone knows who Lara Croft is, everyone knows who Crash Bandicoot is. That would have brought people back and as a family game. Like what family?
It's sort of like the fact that I mean, what that deal closing changed was exactly the reason why they don't make those games anymore, right? The stakes just quadrupled, or more than quadrupled. There's a very real risk that their business is now, Blizzard and Call of Duty and Forza Horizon and Minecraft, and everything else doesn't touch the sides.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is that if you put Destruction All-Stars on Switch 2, you'd have a Fortnite beer.
I think you're quite right about that. I'd like all of you to, during this upcoming break, go to your PlayStation 5, blow the dust off of it, install Destruction All-Stars, play a couple of games.
Is it gone? Is it not gone?
Back. No, Destruction All-Stars is still kicking about. Don't tell me on this podcast that I can't play Destruction All-Stars anymore. I will faint.
We might as well quit the industry right now.
Right. If you'd like to support the #1 Destruction All-Stars fan site, you can do so at patreon.com.
thegamebusiness.com/Video
Games Chronicle. Don't give Christopher Dring any more
money. The gaming businesses.
You have
also looking at subscribers.
These subscription models, it's a dying model. We need to make more VGC exclusive content. We will see you.
We don't put our Patreon content on the game business.
Yeah, it's too highbrow for the game business.
See if we release VGC on PC.
We should release that episode where we talked about how quickly the Spice Girls will die on the games business.
We've already referenced that. Yeah.
And we'll be back after these adverts.
And we'll be back after this. And we are back. Next story. 3 months after closing the Game Awards, Highguard is officially shutting down. The game launched on January 26 after its bold announcement at the Game Awards, but despite initially reaching millions of players, according to the developer, player numbers quickly plummeted and Wildlight laid off most of its development team the following month. In an update posted to social media, it said the game had not been able to attract enough players to sustain development long term. One final update is out now. Quote, today we're sharing difficult news. We've made the decision to permanently shut down Highguard on March 12th. Since launch, more than 2 million players have stepped into Highguard's world. You shared feedback, created content, and many believed in what we were building. For that, we are deeply grateful. Despite the passion and hard work of the team, we were not able to build a sustainable player base to support the game long term. Christopher Dring. Is it possible for any of these games to be successful these days, or is there just too many of them? And are people over-egging the importance of this game closing Keely's show?
Sort of, yes. I mean, there's been Arc Raiders just came out and did a massive success, live service game. Battlefield 6, I know it's fallen away a little bit, but it's still in the top 10. It's a new live service game that's done really, really well. The year before, Helldivers 2 did extremely well. So the idea of things breaking in, it happens. It's difficult because, as everyone puts out, people, those live service players are playing games already. They're playing other live service titles. You need to convince them to come over. You need to give them something new and fresh and exciting to play. I think the sad thing about Highguard is it's actually, there was a similar story. The finals from Embark Studios was also basically revealed during the Game Awards. It was actually dropped at the same time as the Game Awards. That's probably a mistake they made with this one. And it had a huge surge in players, and then those players all vanished. They all went away very quickly within a month. And the difference of this one is Nexon, who owned Embark, went, it's okay, the game's good. We know the game's good. It needs some things. There's some things we can do. Let's give it time. And they gave it time, and it's now got to the point where the finals is now a profitable live service game. Right? It's not huge, not the biggest, but it's a profitable live service game because they gave it patience. They knew they had something good. They gave it time. Highguard's backers, which was Tencent, clearly just went, no, we don't think that. And so pulled the plug on the game. From what I've played of it and what I've seen of it, it feels like there was definitely something there. But it didn't have the patience or the time to do it. They didn't do the whole thing that you're supposed to do with shooters these days, which is get the game out there and play it. I think the reality is 2 million people came in to play this game because it ended the Game Awards, and there was so much conversation around it as a result of that. Unfortunately, they couldn't keep those people to play around. Interestingly, I can see the logic behind putting it last on the Game Awards, right? You had this year where you had loads of games come out of nowhere, really, or even if they didn't come out of nowhere, they're new games like Arc Raiders, like Clair Obscur, that came and were the biggest games of the year. And you sort of go, what do we end our show with? How about we end it with something different people haven't seen before? It's from a really talented team that always deliver. He's played the game, he liked the game, and you sort of go, it fits. Let's give this a go. Let's just try it. And then it just.
I think the issue. I do think it was a mistake to end it at the Game Awards or to show it at the Game Awards at all. If, to your point, they weren't going to launch concurrently like the finals did. First of all, feel very sorry for the developers who worked on it. They were clearly, very skilled, very experienced. I think the game's probably. I've not played it, but I think it's probably a good game. I think it probably could have been even better if they could have, kind of turned the ship with time. But I think the problem here is that it's so reliant on word of mouth, these games, right? Recommending, because you need to get your friends to stop playing other stuff to come over. It's so reliant on that. And the word of mouth became so negative because what they showed at the Game Awards, I don't think was representative of what I understand the game is. A lot of the interviews and stuff they didn't do, again, like the game launched 2 months later after the Game Awards, it's period of big silence. A lot of the interviews they did, they talked about how there's no game like this, there's nothing like this, and the raid mechanic of the game sounds very unique, but they certainly didn't communicate that at the Game Awards. I mean, I'm sat there in the audience with you, Dringo. It looked like the most generic game I've ever seen. Like my first immediate thought seeing that was this game is going to be shut within weeks. Yeah. Right. It doesn't matter whether, I was wrong about the, whether the game was unique or it looked dull or whatever. It's perception is reality, and a lot of people would have been thinking the same as me. It looks like a hero shooter. It looks like a million hero shooters that come out every single month that we are completely awash with. And my understanding is it is not that game. That's not what it is at all. So I don't think they showed it particularly well. And obviously that's compounded that problem, that because you're then not going to allow people to play it and go, no, everyone, like, look, this game's actually really good. It's like this. Oh, really? They did a bad job of marketing that. That's, you didn't speak to press straight away or anything. Like press. The great thing about talking to, I can only talk from our perspective, talking to the press in this circumstance, right, is that if they'd have showed me that game, say the day after or what have you, I would have honed in on what I think is interesting about it. No, hold on, guys. This is not just another live service shooter. Actually, it's doing something really interesting, and this is what it is. And everyone would have done that, PC Gamer, Game Informer, etc., etc. Because they didn't include that, and they just went for the reveal. Yeah. I think that's the issue, that it was in the context, it was on its own.
I think if they hadn't have done the reveal, it would have been even worse. That's my... I know some people online will disagree with that, but I don't think you can launch a new... Sure, you're the team that worked on Apex Legends, but I don't think you can launch a new IP live service shooter with nothing. I
don't think the fact that they were at the Game Awards is the issue. Is the fact that it was in.
But they should. I agree with you. I think if the strategy was to have a big moment and get loads of people to come in, rather than do what Arc Raiders did, which is have lots of play tests and build that audience over time, build that community over time, which by the way is the right strategy. Then you can go for that big boom, get everyone in day one and get people excited. But you've got to do it at the same time. You can't do it and then
like
wait.
The leadership of the studio were hyper focused on reproducing what Apex Legends did, that a lot of them worked on.
Because that's what they got experience doing.
But they bodged it, right? I mean, Apex Legends, they got all of the influencers in, all the streamers in, all the press in, they all played the game, and then they dropped it all at once, right? They didn't put a trailer out and then go quiet for 2 months. This is not the Apex Legends model. This is the Highguard model.
It was the Apex Legends model with an added Game Awards bit, right? And I think that's probably what they augmented it with. But I agree. But I say that I don't know. The thing is, this game was commissioned 4 years ago, right? And you're going, right, this is unique. This sort of games are doing really, really well. You get to the point where you're launching it and the game comes out and it's okay, but it's not quite right. It's not quite right. You need a bit of time. We need to give it another 6 months and add some content and change it to 5v5 or whatever it is you need to do in order to get that game right. And in 4 years ago, in your Tencent, you've got the patience to go, okay, all right, take another 6 months. We'll give you 6 months worth of money to get there. Now, with the way the market is now and your Tencent, you've already pulled out of a lot of live service games across, the Western world, and you've gone, loads of people dropped out of the game. We're not entirely sure, actually, we're not going to bother. And I think part of it's the investment landscape that we're in as well. You can sit there and go, it looks like a generic live service shooter. The trailer wasn't great, the first one. But this game was commissioned, they started this 4 years ago. And it's just such a different world. And that's one of the challenges of AAA. And not that Highguard is the most AAA game. It was only 100 developers, which is a lot for indie, but not a lot for AAA.
100 California developers.
Yes. Well, they're all remote. So they weren't. So it's like, I know that the leads are all in California. But I
mean, Amazon cancelled live service game, or has cancelled a bunch of games recently, right?
Cancelled all of them apart from Tomb Raider.
Yeah. So it is what it is, but it's just it's the depressing landscape, right? If you're going to take this kind of investment, that, as you say, they don't have the patience. I mean, the amount of games we could pluck out of the air that had underwhelming launches, Destiny being the biggest one, No Man's Sky, which has been a huge success since its launch. They were able to right the ship. I mean, not a direct comparison on the last one, because obviously it's an indie game. But yeah, I just wonder how for every Highguard, it's come out and they've gone, okay, it doesn't work, and they've shut them down. I wonder for every one of those, how many got shut down, midway through development, right? I mean,
loads. Yeah. And for different reasons.
So
I think
Amazon got that far.
The story with Amazon's different. They decided they were going to become a games developer and publisher, and then changed their minds when AI became a thing.
I love AI. I think it's really great.
I think it's
Just
Nothing's got a
sponsor
positive
us.
impact on my
Sponsor
life.
us. Surely there's some AI money floating around that can come VGC's way. Come on. Either that.
AI money?
Come on. We want artificial intelligence
Do
money.
you mean money spent on AI or money that AI's made?
Either doesn't matter. Anything that gets me Pokemon cards. We're also
One of those exists.
we're also open to being sponsored by like Al Halal or one of the Saudi Pro League teams if they want to come in and do a custom VGC shirt. We're very reasonable, very easily bought. Yeah, here we go.
Andy, I've been looking into this AI thing, and as media owners, I've realised that you can get AI to come up with questions for your interviews, to write your press releases, and even you can get like an AI like sort of character to ask the questions. We could just get rid of all stuff.
Can we get AI to review games for us? Because that's the bit.
And you can get AI to review games for you. It's great.
Tell me more.
The
problem with this Highguard situation, as I see it, is it was a two-tiered. There's two failure points here, and one of them wasn't their fault, and one of them was. The Game Awards thing, it wasn't their fault that it was announced as the final game, and the internet has a habit of turning on things very quickly and deciding something's fate, and it takes a lot to turn them around. There's very rare occasions where it did turn around. Silent Hill 2 remake was one of those situations where when they first showed it, everyone said, this is shit, I hate this is going to be terrible, and over time people went, actually this is quite good. That was what would have saved Highguard. Everyone was expecting, when you get an and finally at the Game Awards, everyone instantly in their head goes, oh, it'll be a Final Fantasy VIII remake, it'll be something big. Like the year before it was Intergalactic, it's a new Naughty Dog game. That's the tier that people expect. So when they got anything but that, whatever game that would have been, they would have turned on it. So that wasn't necessarily the developer's fault. When it then came out 2 months later and got that initial big boost of traffic, a lot of that was, I would imagine, was people trying it out with ill will, like look at this so they could try it and say, oh well, it was shit. But I think a lot of people would have been saying, is it actually, did this justify being the final game at the Game Awards? And because it's one of those games that has to evolve over time, I think a lot of people came in and says, no, it's not, and just dropped out right away. And at that point, when you had the art tech director coming out and saying, we were told this game couldn't fail, I can't believe it, but this is all entirely the public's fault. It's like, well, no, you have to take some responsibility at that point, because when you had lots of people playing it and it didn't catch them, it didn't grab them right away, and that was it.
The game failed on its own merits. The internet was horrifically unreasonable about it. I think from that point of view, you can sort of agree with the guy. Like, everyone hated on this game for basically no reason other than the fact they didn't like the placement it had in an award ceremony, which it's an absurd thing to get upset about because there were plenty of other games in that award ceremony. But yeah, it was. I can understand that it was unreasonable, but the game just didn't connect, and then the money wasn't there afterwards to give it time so it could connect.
I mean, you have like, I mean, there's a lot of like backpedaling at the moment. Not in here. I just mean in general, in the public consciousness. But putting a live service shooter that in its presentation did look rather generic as the big last game comes with it a lot of flack.
Yeah.
Like if Apple's like, hey, we got one last thing, and it's like a new mouse or something. That mouse might be excellent, but it's going to get absolute shit.
I know. Tell you why I didn't like it, and I never played it. The only reason I turned against it was because the name Highguard was blatantly just a synonym for Overwatch. Over High Watch Guard. So they say that it wasn't like a hero shooter or the like. They literally named it after Overwatch, I believe.
I think it's
so hell meant them.
I think it's telling that when me and Chris were pulling our hair out, I was pulling his hair, covering the Game Awards. When that was the final game, we thought, oh good, we can get on with the actual games, putting up the stories of. We didn't have a story for like the big final game like for a while because we were doing other stuff. This was a show that had a new Knights of the Old Republic, and they finished it with Highguard. Like, it's just, it's mad to me. I think lessons surely have to be learned from this.
Well, I don't know. I mean, come on. we're making a big deal about, they chose the play. Well, the game they chose at the end wasn't as good as the game from 3 announcements earlier, but you still got the announcement 3 announcements earlier. Like it wasn't like it wasn't. If it was a rubbish Game Awards where there was just no announcements of any note at all, I get the criticism, but it's like I still get the criticism too. I'm not saying I don't.
If I can use a wrestling analogy here,
I'll go on then.
When Roman Reigns was working his way up, Roman Reigns was heavily tipped to be the next big thing. When WWE started aggressively shifting him as the next big thing, the fans turned against him because people don't like being told this is going to be a big thing when they don't necessarily buy it. So for it to be positioned at the end of the Game Awards, people don't like being told, shown something that they don't.
People don't like being disappointed.
People don't like being told this is a big thing and seeing it and thinking this is a big thing. When Roman Reigns then later turned heel and fans thought they'd caused that, that's when they started supporting him because they thought it was an organic thing that they helped.
Tune into the Game Awards for that big surprise, and the last one is supposed to be the biggest, right?
Because people obviously give us Final Fantasy Remake.
These are expectations that have been set by the event.
Yeah. But subconsciously, that's because people want their demands to be met. So when people say, "Oh, I hope it's a Final Fantasy remake. I hope it's a new Naughty Dog game," and then when they get a new Naughty Dog game, they go, "Brilliant! That's what we wanted."
You could have put in that slot.
Yeah,
I mean, you can't have it both ways as well. You can't, because I'm sure in their marketing decks or what have you, is that they'll show how being in our show can make your game a hit, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So then at the same time, it can have a lot of negative effects if you.
I doubt they were sitting there going, "Please don't put us at the end of the Game Awards."
Yeah. It got 2 million players, and you've got to get the trailer right, you've got to get the pitch right. To be worth remembering, the Game Awards, and I know that people watch it for different reasons, but that wasn't the last thing that happened at the Game Awards. The last thing at the Game Awards was that big musical montage, and then it was obviously the Game of the Year. So I guess
that's been a bit facetious, isn't it?
It's not because
the last thing that happened was the YouTube.
Because I was watching the show, and I'd forgotten that Highguard was.
It was billed as the last reveal. Here's the last big reveal. It's a special slot, right? They must even sell that separately. We're going to put you on screen. Right, fine, but you know what I'm talking about. Is that in among this, they're not making these things up as they go along. They're incredibly regimented, right? We're going to put you on the screen. Then Jeff is going to introduce your game at length for a minute. Then you're going to play, and then you might have some other stuff. It's the last slot. It's the last.
Yeah, and I think it's very brave in an industry where new IP is the thing. I think it's very brave to
polite way
take a punt on a new IP.
Way of saying some other words. Brave.
Yeah. Well, no, but I mean, my whole point isn't that it was the wrong game to end the Game Awards. Clearly, it was. But I guess my whole point of this thing is we're making it out like it was the worst thing anyone could possibly have done. It was just like just took a punt on a new IP as the last game.
I think it would have worked completely differently if they hadn't have left it at that, right? Put your impressions out there and launch a little bit sooner, maybe even concurrently. I think it could have been a very different story. I just wonder how many people watched that and went, because I'm not being retroactively changing my opinion. I mean, I'd love to know whether it is just me, but I'm in the room and I'm like, I can't believe that they're ending the Game Awards with this game.
All I'll say is that if the last game at the Game Awards had been Destruction All-Stars, we'd be looking at a Fortnite beater now.
The last game at the Game Awards should have been the best game released so far this year, and that is Pokémon Pokopia, the current highest rated Pokemon game ever, according to Metacritic, beating out such big hitters as X and Y, Black and White, Heart Gold and Soul Silver, Sun and Moon, Diamond and Pearl, etc. and so on. Andy, as my fellow Pokemaniac in this chat, you were playing it last night. Your whole house was Pokopia last night.
I was woken up at 6:30 this morning, right, by a 8-year-old like mashing me in the face, like, Daddy, like brandishing a Nintendo Switch 2. How do I get the Charmander to follow me?
That's a hit. That is a hit right there. It is got its audience.
There's 3 of us all playing it yesterday. It was like a LAN party.
For those unaware, I'm sure you can't possibly be at this point. Pokemon Pokopia is the latest life sim. It's made by Omega Force, who made Dragon Quest Builders 2 and Wild Hearts is the name of that other one, and Game Freak, who obviously are the kind of stewards of Pokemon. The short pitch is you are in post-apocalyptic Kanto, which is the setting for Red and Blue, and you are bringing Pokemon back to your world by building little habitats for them. And 170 hours later, according to my Nintendo Switch 2, I absolutely love it. You can check out my review on the website. You can also check out my video review. And yeah, I think it's really, really strong. Obviously, me and Andy were very high on it from the preview, and it's completely
exactly
blown
my
away.
sort of thing.
Yeah.
I love. Is this our Barbieheimer? Is this our is this
Resident Evil Pokopia?
Yeah. The thing is, it's true because I'm actually going to jump into Marathon. I've got it downloaded, so I am. It's a little cleanser. So they do complement each other from that point of view. I think. However, I've not followed Marathon massively. I can't solo queue that, right?
I have absolutely no idea. All I know is that it used to be called Snickers.
No, just don't know. If I have to like pal up with two randoms, it's going off.
I'll play Marathon with you, Andy. I'll play Marathon with you.
If I have to pal up with Jordan, no, yeah, go on then. Let's play it this week.
I used to carry you through Warzone games back in the day, back in the glory days.
I'm not even going to dispute that.
Yeah. Warzone was it's class, man. Just talking we would talk absolute shite for the entire match, and then
have you seen the new Blackout they've brought back?
What, like Prime Blackout? Is it like how it used to be?
Have you not been on the internet?
No, I've been in Pokopia. I've been in Canton.
It's out next week. It's Blackout Warzone.
Call the boys. Get the boys in. We need to get back to it. The problem is,
out of retirement,
every time I go back to that game, I'm like, man, this is class. And then somebody does like a 720 slide cancel no scope, and I'm like,
can't be arsed with that stuff.
And then I'm like, right, let's go up into a hill, hide in a cave, and then we'll get to the last circle and just see what we can do. That's proper.
As soon as people in my party are buying new controllers, like they can change the sticks and shit. It's like, this is done.
But there was no slide cancelling in Pokopia. Andy, how much have you played so far? Are you just still in that kind of opening preview area? I saw you were getting to Onyx last night.
Literally, I turned it off last night because my controller died. When I went into the second area.
Yeah. Okay, so
but I've spent ages in that first area, just absolutely rinsing it.
I think it's really, really strong. I think the preview was great at showing kind of the start of the game, and the whole story mode of the game is basically an introduction, and then when it finishes, it's like, okay, go and do what you want, make your big Minecraft builds, make all your automated stuff. If you want to see a example of how deep this game can get, go on YouTube. They released a video where the Game Freak developers, including Omori-san, made an island for Omega Force, and Omega Force made an island for them, and the kind of stuff you can do just with the base ingredients of the game is absolutely ridiculous. It's not quite Little Big Planet, people making calculators, but it's not far away. Like, it is so deep, and I think that it's incredibly fun. I really, really, really love it.
Is it the Switch 2 system seller at last?
It's the Switch 2 system seller in Paisley, let me tell you, because the amount of people that have texted me saying, can I get a Switch? First of all, is this game on Switch 1? Then why is this game not on Switch 1? And then where sells a Switch 2? So it's also apparently sold out on Amazon UK, the physical copy of the game. Physical? Store. It's a game keycard. It's not physical. Shut up.
It's the first game keycard I bought. I feel dirty.
Yeah.
I've got that. I've got Revelations as well, and I got Tony Hawk's keycard. Yeah. So
Did you both realise that it doesn't matter because we're all going to die anyway, and there's no way that you're not going to be able to play this game whenever you want?
It does say that in the box. It does say that in the box.
This is coming in
like a pharaoh.
I've already hollowed
out. It won't be a coffin. It'll be a crypt. You're going to have your own crypt.
So
they're going to find me like a couple of 1,000 years. Like, this guy was clearly some sort of prince.
So you get Andy's crypt, and then you put two hedges either side, and then you put a light, and that becomes a habitat, and that's how you get.
And his bones just fall out.
Anyway, the reason why I don't like key cards has nothing to do with the ownership thing. It's entirely because I like to plug something in and play it. I don't like to plug something in and then wait for it to download and then play it. But you know, if that's what I have to do,
it feels
like
you've been swindled.
I don't think this game could run.
It's like if you when you go to the sink and you turn the tap, and then your doorbell goes and someone brings you a bottle of water.
I'm just waiting.
You've just disguised it for something that it isn't.
As it gets more prolific, you're going to get examples of, I went on holiday with my kid for a long haul flight and I bought them Pokemon Pokopia at the airport. So they had something to play on the flight and they couldn't play it because they couldn't download it before the flight.
I was on a submarine pummeling the coast of Iran.
I was in Dubai, my building was falling to pieces, and I thought, I can't play Pokopia, Nintendo! I think it's a hell of a game, and I think that the reaction to it online, obviously Pokemon has a certain reputation with the hardcore Pokemon fans where they are so ready to hate on Game Freak and to hate on the games, justifiably in certain aspects. But this is the first time in a long time, maybe since the release of, Arceus had all the graphical stuff. I can't remember the last time the Pokemon community was so united and like, this is a great game. Like, I'm really enjoying playing this. It also has an element of discovery that the original Pokemon games, the Pokemon games lost as soon as they could be data mined, because I'm still playing it alongside Mr. Cerebi himself, Joe Merrick, and he's like, we're on the day after launch, and only now are all the legendary Pokemon being found. Previously, you would just, I don't know how data mines work, plug your cartridge into your computer and then all the data would appear. But the point was, there was no mystery. There are still mysteries in this game that we're trying to work out. And I absolutely love it. It is much less Animal Crossing than I think a lot of people expected. It's much more of kind of there's quite a big adventure game element to it. Not like
it's actually it's quite meaty, isn't it?
Yeah.
I only now see that calling it the Pokemon Animal Crossing is a bit of a disservice.
Yeah, gets people in the door
because you are like, it's not like you're staying in the same place and then you're gated doing stuff per day. It's a much meaty. It's more like, probably more fairer to compare it to like a Minecraft story type thing.
Yeah. As the missions are a lot, so each area will have like a special variant Pokemon.
It's Viva Pinata RPG.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
Yeah, essentially,
that's exactly what it is. But you can't make that reference because it's old.
Yeah,
and only people over 40 will understand.
It's Star Sand Island, but popular.
Oh, everybody loves Star Sand Island. Dringo, is this going to go triple platinum in your house, or is your kids into Pokemon yet? Have they hit the Pokemon stage?
No, there's Pokemon requires a lot of reading, and he's still early on his reading journey. But he likes watching me play Pokemon Legends ZA, so he's like into the characters. I went to the Pokemon Natural History Museum thing a couple of weeks early last week, and I bought the Pokemon T-shirts from there, and they were very happy with them. So they like the characters, the look of the world, but they haven't got into the games yet. But I do have Pokopia. I did pick it up. I'm really optimistic about it actually now. Whereas I was always wondering if this could be a breakout hit for Nintendo, and the sold out signs at retailers is promising. Because I was a bit concerned about Nintendo Switch's lineup because, there's winds and waves. The new Pokemon game isn't out this year, is either. So there's an element of, what does Nintendo have to get people to, you should pick up this console. And you always look to the big franchise ones, and Pokopia sort of, well, I don't know, will that do all right? But it looks like it's...
Yeah, I think it's
lots of buzz.
It's going to do mega. They've already announced the first event, which starts next week. However, if you are an enterprising individual like JJM and you changed the time on your Nintendo Switch 2 to see if time traveling worked, the first 4 or so events are already baked into the game. So I've seen events that are unannounced, and I said this to Pokemon, and they were like, yeah, we know they're in there, it's fine. A fraction of the percentage of people that play this game time travel, so it doesn't actually matter to us. I was like, oh, that's kind of interesting. But yes, it's very, 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 very solid. I'm looking forward to playing a bit more of it. If you're playing Pokemon Pokopia this weekend and you want some help, check out VGC. That's my plug alarm that's went off there. Check out VGC and check out our extensive guides, which will be updated all weekend. They're rolling out kind of in conjunction with where you likely are in the game. So today we'll put out the middle 2 big quests, and then tomorrow we'll talk about the ending, and then it's free reign. I know in the era of the internet it's kind of free reign anyway, but it's a great game. Go ahead and play it. Chris, you have to play this one. I'm not letting you backlog it for reasons that we won't make public, but you need to try it out.
I've acquired it. I'm scared of starting it because it's one of those things that once I start, I'm going to be.
It's exactly your shit.
Yeah. So that's the only hesitation.
I spent at least 2 hours last night watering plants.
Yeah. Just cleaning shit up.
It's downloaded and it's sitting there taunting me in the home menu. So it's just.
Do you think this will shake number 1 Splatoon fan and maybe bring her over to the light side?
It's similar to Dringo's situation, where she's really into the characters. Like she loves Pokemon stuff. But I tried her on Let's Go, and she quite liked that, but not the catching mechanic, which is a shame. So I don't know. We'll see. This might be the one. She loves the previously mentioned Star Sand Island, which is on Game Pass. It's like proper, just like make like a farming sim basically. But she loves that. She still loves Disney Infinity, but because you can make your own land in it. So the whole idea of making your own land really appeals to her. So this might be the one that does it, I think.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Speaking of Pokemon, Dringo, you show your kids trailers, and that's how we determine hype. Have your kids seen the Winds and Waves trailer?
They haven't seen the Winds and Waves trailer, but I have, and I liked it. It looked all right.
I think it.
Did it look all right?
I mean, by Pokemon standards, it looked like The Last of Us. The Winds and Waves coming to Nintendo Switch 2 in 2027. That was announced last week during Pokemon Presents. They showed off a little bit of the world, which seems to be based on Indonesia. They also showed off the starters Brout, Pombon, and Gekwa. Do we all have a favourite here? Chris, who are you picking? Brout, Pombom, or Gekwa?
What's the fire one?
Pombom.
Is that the dog?
Yeah, that's a wee dog.
Yeah. Well, why would you even give the other two as an option?
Yeah.
Everyone wants a fire dog.
The place went mental when Pombom got announced. Dringo, have you got a preference of the three?
I don't. I tend to let the kids choose which one I should start with. I don't know why. It's like my little thing.
Yeah.
But the dog one is the cutest one.
I mean, Andy, Pombom surely as a dog man.
Yeah, they just all they're. There's only
What are their evolutions
they can do now where they're all incredibly derivative of each other, right?
Well, the derivative of animals, so yeah, that kind of like it seemed.
Well, yeah, there's only so many animals. I mean, how many Pokemon are there now? Like 1,000.
1,025. Well, 1,028 now that they three have been announced. But it seems like the three of them are going to be based on Japanese like traditional art techniques. Like Brout is or rather, like Japanese traditional stuff generally. Brout as a sumo, Pombom as a calligrapher, and Gekwa as a geisha. But
the gecko one's eyes look angry. They doesn't look cute enough. The bird has these really kind of big eyebrows that just make it look angry. It's got to be the dog. Like, the other two aren't endearing to me.
Yeah,
they can piss off.
It's the longest gap between Pokemon generations since the series began.
Yeah.
This one.
That's because everybody freaked out when Scarlet Violet was released, justifiably to be fair, so they're not messing it up this time.
They've also diversified, right, with the Legends series, and now they've got Champions. It's no longer, those generational moments aren't as important as they used to be to the Pokemon wider entertainment ecosystem. So I think they can do that, and I think I'm glad that they are doing
the Pokemon Industrial Complex. The trailer also showed off 2 new Pikachu variants, Mrs. Wavichu and Mr. Windychew, and let me tell you, I am.
My kids are a bit windy chew sometimes.
I think that these 2 Pikachu are actually the legendary Pokemon from this generation in disguise, because both of them have affectations of the little logos for each of the games, and the logos for each of the games is also on a big dark cloud in the trailer. Watch my trailer breakdown on the VGC YouTube channel. I think you get to the end of the game with Mrs. Wavichu and Mr. Windychew, and they'll go, "Oh, what's happened to me? Oh, you've done well on this journey. Now I will reveal my true form to you," and it'll be some big scary dragon or something like that.
Tell you what, their merch sales will be legendary.
There is no more money on earth they could possibly make at this point.
Why do I put a couple of new Pikachus in there? Pikachu's quite popular.
It must be class,
Got a
man.
dress on him.
Must be absolutely class to have such a free money glitch. Just be like, yeah, you know what? New Pikachu. Oh,
put a dress on Pikachu.
Yeah, now we're talking. But yes, lots of Pokemon fun. Pokemon Presents was interesting. I kind of expected a bit more from it. They announced little bits and pieces. They announced a little musical Game Boy that only absolute marks would buy.
Which you bought? Did we all buy it?
Yeah, it's sitting right there.
Absolute. Not even me. Not even a small Game Boy. A small
Chris,
Game Boy should be.
You have no leg to stand on. You buy some amount of mints. You buy mints constantly. Like it's just one of those things.
But even I have a line. No,
you don't. You
buy a mini Game Boy with 45 cartridges.
Yeah, what a deal.
You swap it out instead of just press a button to switch. Can I just put one cartridge in it?
How many retro consoles do you have that play games you can already play in other ways?
That play games.
So? You can already play in other ways?
So they serve a purpose. How many things do you have that play music?
Yeah, again, it's
better than 45 separate cartridges. Like that stupid thing that you buy your kids where you put the toy on top of it.
Oh,
and it plays
Tony's, I think it's called.
But at least those come with a wee figure as well. It's the amiibo effect. These are 45 cartridges.
Yeah.
You stack them up. That's balls, man.
You say that, but
absolute
sold
balls.
out in 20 minutes.
The cartridge thing is weird.
It is weird.
I mean,
sold out in 20 minutes because they made 30 of them.
the music Game Boy, and you could play classic chip. I thought that's cool. But when it said, "Oh, by the way, every time you want to change a track, you've got to take a cartridge."
That's the thing. I love the idea of a mini Game Boy that plays Game Boy music, but not like you say, like not like that. They put
individually one song at a time.
Even 2 cartridges that have got 2 different albums on.
I'm not saying you're wrong.
But come on.
I'm just saying that you have bought equivalent mints. I will not be criticised for my mints buying because everyone in this call has bought equivalent mints.
But listen, when I bought Wigfield's debut album on cassette back in the day, self-titled Wigfield, it came on a single cassette. It didn't come on 12 cassettes, one for each track.
Yeah, well, Junichi Masuda makes slightly better music than Wigfield. A debate that will rage on into the night.
Listen, that's P45 stuff. I'll not hear a thing saying about Wigfield.
Also, it was 70 quid, and 70 quid is essentially no money these days, so...
70
quid. It's 70 quid.
Yeah.
It's 70 quid.
Fucking hell, man.
I think that is objectively the stupidest product I can think of, and I don't think
even
PlayStation
PlayStation 5 Pro sounds reasonable compared to that.
What makes a product stupid? Surely the mark of quality of a product is if it sells and it's completely sold out.
What makes a product stupid is the practicality.
Could not be further from like Gareth Gates has like been number one, mate. Like he's
some boy.
You know, like PS2 took Dreamcast out of business with a lineup of games that were objectively nowhere near as good. The history of capitalism is paved from commercial success does not equal quality.
The Lego Game Boy. The Lego Game Boy.
It does not. They could have released anything Pokemon and it would sell out.
Yeah.
100%.
The Lego Game Boy.
This history will judge this.
I don't think it will. I don't think it will remotely.
Mad.
Like,
I'm gonna set a reminder. We're gonna reason this a couple of years, and you're gonna go, yeah, that was wicked. That was. Do you remember the Game Boy with it? Yeah, I'm doing it right now. I'm just gonna go and get number 42 out.
Absolutely no point have I said this was wicked or a great thing. I got it because I thought it looked cool. And that is all the justification.
But so does the Lego Game Boy. That's cheaper.
What?
Yeah,
the talking flower is 25 quid, and that's shite. But I've bought that because it's 25 quid.
If it's a cool little thing to stick on your shelf, fine. It's just I think I probably would have got it if it was all on one cartridge. But as soon as it wasn't, I was like, yeah, I'm that.
I've spent more money on bigger mints, and so is everyone here.
I've got
everyone listening to this.
Statue.
Not me. I'm practical. Look at this. This was very affordable. A little Lego Wario that flies, that glides.
It doesn't fly. No, it flies.
It does fly.
Glides.
It does fly.
Throw it then.
I'm not demonstrating it here.
Throw it against the wall.
No, I wouldn't give you the satisfaction. I wouldn't give you the satisfaction. It can be rebuilt. That's the thing. Like the $6 million man, we can rebuild them.
$6 million is also what that Game Boy cost. Dringo, go ahead.
I've got a £500 statue of Greg the Grim Reaper from Conker's Bad Fur
Thank you.
over there.
But the issue again, like, is coming back, like these things all look cool. The equivalent would be if his Lego thing that he just put up, the bricks didn't connect together. You have to like glue them together.
But I'm not,
and you have to do it with your teeth.
I'm sorry,
you know, and it costs $4,000.
At what point am I pulling this game?
Mad.
Oh, I'm on the train or I'm on the flight. I'm going to pull this out and have a little listen. I've just got it to put it on a shelf because I think it looks nice.
Oh, yeah.
This is the thing. There's not.
It looks cool because it's a Game Boy. A good.
That's the thing. That's like it looks cool on the shelf, but it's not like there's a lack of Game Boys to put on shelves.
From a good game, Pokemon.
I bought the Grace watch, the Resident Evil watch from Grace from.
And how much was that?
Song as well, Grace.
Just under 1,200 quid.
Fucking hell!
What is this?
It's a watch.
Unsubscribe from the game business. He's getting too much money.
Again, the comparison would be if you can't tell the time on it. It's just written on.
There's no comparison.
You have to wind it. You have to wind it up every 10 minutes on a 52 different.
I don't know why you're acting like I said it's 70 grand. I don't know why you're acting like I said it's 70 grand. In today's money, £70 is hee haw. You waste £70 every single day. It was an.
It's a plastic piece of plastic that plays some Game Boy music.
And it looks
Sonic
nice on a shelf.
Sonic Lego, £8.99.
And it does nothing.
RRP. Look at that. It drives. The wheels move.
Go then, drive.
There's interactivity there. It literally does something.
It doesn't do the base thing that it needs to do.
It literally
go
does
fast.
everything.
Oh.
It does everything.
Anyway. If you want it, you can't get it anyway because it's sold out. Look, I also don't know why I bought it. I got the email and I was like, that looks cool. I held it in my hands at the event and I was like, that looks cool. What box does it come in? It comes in a really nice big box. And I was like, fine. I like putting stuff on my shelf. I don't care. I bought
As
it.
I understand,
get it round a lot of years.
Also, based on social
everyone
media,
who bought it doesn't care.
Yeah.
As I understand
why would you
it,
care?
90%.
Why would you care about anything? Just buy it.
I'm just saying. Earlier on, you're like, it's sold out, so it's good. No, everyone saw
Sold
it
out
looks
'cause it's
cool and bought it.
Yeah.
That's
It
it.
looks cool,
It
it's
doesn't
good.
matter whether it took a shit on your living room counter. Like, it looks like a Game Boy. Cool.
If that shit had a tail sticking out of it with lightning on it, sold. As I understand it on social media as well, that box that came in, 90% of that box is just thin air. Am I right in saying it's a very small product for the size of the box it came in?
You've got to put the 52 cartridges.
Yeah.
I think this segment is longer than the Xbox.
This is more important than the Xbox conversation.
It's more important.
That's a better deal. This has more games on it than the Xbox. 45 of them. It was an interesting time all around when that stuff turned up from the Pokemon Center. I bought this like t-shirt you can see on the video version. It's like the opening.
So that serves a purpose. That's a good design.
And I was like, that's nice. It's Gengar and Nidorino. That's cool. I bought the desk mat as well. And then I got the other box and I was like, yeah. I held it, I looked at it and I put it on my shelf and I was like, yeah, I felt like a 70 quid experience right there.
Money well spent. Fucking hell.
Again, no criticism. Look at our gaming Discord. Everyone that listens to this podcast, everyone VGC adjacent, has wasted more money on less.
I know for a fact Andy got one of these as well. It shines and everything. £3.99 postage, not a penny spent on platinum points. That'll look more better. That'll look more better on display. That'll look more betterish, more betterish than on my shelf.
No, it won't.
In that Elpish.
No, it won't.
It shines in the light. Does yours?
How does it shine in the light?
What are we talking about?
It's shining.
What's going on now?
I don't know.
We're trying to see who's got the most useless shite.
Oh, well. If you don't want to spend 70 quid on a tiny Game Boy with 50 million cartridges, you could spend 70 quid on patreon.com/Video Games Chronicle and support independent games media.
The full year's worth.
Yeah, exactly. You may have noticed that the pool of guests on this podcast gets smaller and smaller every year because every single games journalist seems to be losing their job every week. Just in the last week, some very great people at Polygon got let go out of nowhere. It is genuinely that serious. I feel like and I understand this, I hear it on a lot of podcasts in other industries. You hear the doom and gloom stories and it can become kind of like white noise in the background because it's like, oh, someone else will sort it out. If you're listening to this and you really like VGC, be it this podcast, which I don't know why you would like this podcast, but the website is very good, and you want to support it, patreon.com/Video Games Chronicle. Also, get your tickets to the live show because Chris Dring will be doing something very special at the live show. And let me tell you, there's a reason that it's over 18s only. Isn't that right, Chris?
I was going to say, mate, it is over 18s, right? Because I've been preparing, I've been practicing.
Yeah.
Bring your Game Boy, Jordan, and we'll literally throw cartridges into the crowd.
I mean,
I thought you were going to say something else then.
thank you very much. Check out we didn't actually talk about WWE, Chris. I'm sorry, we've got very little time.
That's all right. I realise Pokemon takes priority overall.
I mean, it does, but very quickly.
There's 3,000 words on the website. It's good. It's very good.
Good. Well,
I know. Yeah, we're an hour and a half in. It's good. It's very good. WWE 2K26 is very good. There's
is it better than No Mercy?
No.
No,
of course it is.
I'm out.
But in a modern era, it's the best you can get. So I'll take it.
Frankly, if Chris Benoit's not in it, I'm not in.
And on that delicate note, thank you very much for listening to another episode. Me and Chris will do something on WWE because we're due another bit of wrestling, and we'll segment that off in a quarantine zone of wrestling. I'll batter the ever-loving shite out of him with my mini Game Boy. Until then, Christopher
Wrestling
Dring,
in the dust.
where can we get your musings about the state of the industry? I saw that you had some random Geordie called Lucy James on your podcast recently.
I did. Lucy James is on this week talking about Resident Evil Requiem's incredible sales
TJ
success.
and Duncan herself.
Yeah, thegamebusiness.com. You can go on their site, put your little email in, and you get all my podcasts and newsletters and stuff.
Put your little email in. Listen how condescending he is to his
He hates his audience.
viewership. Put your little email in.
Well, the young people today, they don't do emails, do
daft
they?
Put your
emails.
your little scumbag email in.
Put your little Game Boy in there, 70 quid, not a problem. Andy, where do you want to ask our listenership in a nicer way than Chris Dring did to come over and engage with VGC stuff?
No.
Say goodbye, Andy.
Goodbye.
Say goodbye, Chris.
Bye.
Chris.
Oh, that's
which one?
confusing. That's confusing.
A dilemma, a quandary.
Okay, we'll do it.
Which one?
Right, everyone, focus up here. Say goodbye, Andy.
Goodbye.
Say goodbye, Dringo.
Goodbye.
Say goodbye, Scullion.
Goodbye, Scullion.
And we will see you next week.